Welcome to video 1 of module 3. It is on the heads proportion to croquis. So a croquis is a drawing of a fashion model that you trace over to design clothing. You can also call it a fashion figure or a template. A quick recap on module 2 from heads proportion to croquis. So in the previous module, we've learned about the number of heads proportion and how it will transform them into a croquis. So the first drawing here is an 8th heads proportion. And this one here is the 9 heads proportion. And the last one is going to be the 10th heads proportion. Okay. So we will only focus on the 8 heads proportion, focusing on a female and male croquis, and with an addition of a children and a baby proportion. This video will contain information on how to draw starting from line to croquis. The first one we're going to focus is on the head proportions, the female front view. You will need to draw 8 heads guidelines. And to do this, you need to draw lines that are equivalent to the number of heads. So instead of drawing the heads, I'm just going to write the numbers here. And the number should be around 8 or 9. I'm going to explain further. The first step is to assign the head, waist, and the hips. I will use the color yellow for this step. Okay, so that's the head, the waist, and the hip. Okay, the next step is to add the skeleton. And to do this, I'm going to use the green color. So here's the skeleton using the green lines. Add the joints, and I'm going to use pink for this next step. Okay, the joints where all the shoulder, elbow, hands, knee, and ankles. It's going to be in pink. And let's make the outline and create an actual croquis. Okay, so once you got that done, you will need to use your imagination and a lot of practice for this phase. Draw the croquis using the black line. And if you erase the green, pink, and yellow colors, you will get a croquis. So just wipe off the color and you will get something like this. Yes, a croquis. Okay, the next one we're going to try and do the 8 heads proportion of a male front view. So the first thing you need to do is to draw the 8 heads guidelines. So just draw the lines as we did previously and write down the numbers. And I'm going to write down until number 9 as per before, because this is going to represent the 8 heads proportion. And the first step is to assign the head, the shoulder, and the hips. I'm going to use the yellow color again, so head, shoulder, and hips. Followed by the skeleton. And this will be done in green pen. Okay. And after that, you add the joints. And again, I'm going to be using pink to represent the joint. And you will get something like this. And let's make the outline and create the actual croquis. So try and draw the outline. Again, use your imagination. And voila! So we're going to do a proportion for a baby. So draw 8 heads guideline as per before. Even though the baby is small, we are still going to use the 8th head proportion. The 8th head proportion is known as the size that actually is the closest to the real human form. Again, you need to assign the head, shoulder and hips of the baby. And as the baby is small, you will only touch a little bit of the heads. No more than 3 heads. And you will get something like this. And then add the skeleton. We'll be using the same color for skeleton, which is green. Okay, that's a small baby there. And then we're gonna add the joints. Yes, pink again for the joints. And the next step is to draw the croquis. And as per before, we're going to be using black lines. And just draw them. And here you have a baby croquis. So if you want to do a toddler, the size is going to be a bit bigger than the baby size, but a lot smaller than the adults. As per before, you need to draw the guidelines first. And this is the basic. Once you know how to roughly estimate the proportion, you don't really actually need to draw these numbers. Okay, add yellow for the head, shoulder and hips for your toddler. Head, shoulder and hip. Okay, the next step is to add the skeleton, which is going to be in green again. And then you need to add the joints so that you can imagine where the hands, elbow, ankles are going to be. So again, we're going to be using pink. And finally, you need to draw the outline again. Use your imagination. And if you practice a lot, you will finally know where about the line is going to be. So we've covered the process of 8 heads, female proportion, male proportion, kid proportion, and the toddler's proportion. And this is the lesson you're going to be learning for this module. We only cover on the 8 heads proportion, and you will use this for the next module and to actually create the final task. So keep this in mind. If you forget, you can replay the video and re-watch the video again. Okay, so the micro learning outcome for module 3 is you're able to reproduce a croquis design for 8 heads proportion. So please proceed to video 2. Good luck!